So, according to dictionary.com, the definition of discipline is training to act in accordance with rules. And for my cultural artifact, with me being Latina, being Mexican, one of the things that is used most in my family uh, to like show discipline is the chancla. And I know it's funny, it sounds funny, but the chancla is actually a shoe or a flip flop. Um, the chancla has been used for generations in my family. It got passed down from uh, my mom to my sister, my brother, myself. But before the use of the chancla was the belt that my grandparents used with my mom and my aunts and everybody else. Um, So I'm gonna now give you some examples of how the use of the chancla has been implemented in my family. Um, the first one was my brother because when he was little, he would always be the one causing the most drama. Um, just not so much misbehaving, but he wouldn't listen to what my mom told him to do or what not to do. For example, when he was in elementary school and my mom would drop him off, um, we he would actually leave the school and go to my grandparents' house. Back then they lived in Mexico, um, and the school was very close to where my grandparents lived, and he would always just run to my grandparents' house because he's my grandpa has been like our dad, for all of us, and my brother and my grandpa are very close, so he would always just go or escape the school to go with him. But every time my mom would catch him because after dropping my brother and my sister off at school, she would go to my grandparents' house just to check on them and everything. So, as you can imagine, every time, every day, my brother would get a whooping with the chancla. Eventually, he learned his lesson and he stopped doing that because he knew he was going to get a whooping. Uh, so next, I will give you an example of how it got passed on to my sister. My sister has two kids. My niece, she's 14, and my nephew, he's 13. And my sister, when she would, when she first started using the chancla as a form of like discipline or whatever, she would get her shoe and she would run after my niece and nephew, and they would just laugh at her. They would think she's crazy, um that she wasn't gonna hit him or anything, and it would just make her so mad. So she would just end up throwing the chancla like down the hall or anything, and I swear the chancla would boomerang like through the wall or through the hallway into like rooms. I don't know. She had like some supernatural throw. Like, I don't know if y'all have seen the movie Wanted with Angelina Jolie. That is how the chancla would go, trying to hit one of my niece and nephews. Um, but that's how it got passed down to the third generation of our family, and now with having two kids and a toddler. Well, yeah, I guess a toddler who just always wants to get away with things. When my daughter was 3 years old, um, she decided she wanted to become the modern day Picasso. So she grabbed all her colors and she's like, Mom, let's color, let's color. And, after I told her plenty of times that we only color in paper, she decided to just ignore me and go to her room and color all over the walls. Being the neat freak that I am, I freaked and I just, you know, I got my chancla and I spanked her once, and I made her help me clean all the walls with the Clorox wipes, and thankfully the color came off. Um, the color came off, and after that, I felt so bad, and I told her, I was like, did you learn your lesson? Do you know that we do not color in the walls? We only color on paper or in your canvas, or just not on the walls or on furniture. And she pouted. She's like, yes, mommy. um and now, like, whenever she tries to test me, all I have to do is just pretend like I'm taking my shoe off or my chancla off, and she's like, okay, okay, I'll stop. So in conclusion, I want to say that the use of the chancla in my family has taught us discipline and how to obey, and not you know to not misbehave, like, well, for example, us to my parents or my grandparents, because we always have to mind our elders, even though kids these days, they don't care. But that is my culture artifact speech. And even though it's not so much an artifact, because every day it's something different, that's what I think it's um useful. Thanks. Bye.